went up networking in Seattle, and there was a high producing agent there that took my card, and he looked at it and he said, wow, you're a good marketer. And I thought, my first thought was, no, this is who I am. This is touchy-feely.
This is legit. So I'm super excited today. I've got a guest with me, and we're gonna talk a little bit about real estate and what 2024 looks like. But more importantly, she recently made a big change in her business and decided to make a transition. And so this is Christy Woodford, you guys. So she is 1 month in to this massive change in her business, and today we're going to talk about exactly why she made that change.
One of the reasons that I didn't know I was joining Real was just depression and burnout. I didn't really realize how bad it was until I came up for fresh air in this new brokerage. Conversations between Malcolm and Sharon, they were talking about therapy. They were talking about how they both go regularly to therapy, or how they've had to work things out with a counselor. And again, that was another moment where I'm like, wow, that's not something I've ever heard in an interview in a brokerage brief before, and a recognition that this is a stressful job, and we have tools, we have ways that we can support ourselves so that we can support our clients better too.
Yeah, I mean, in the corporate world, like, you're taught not to talk about any weaknesses that you may have, and everybody has them, and everybody goes through things. That's just fact. And the people who bury that and try to hide it, I mean, and we're not sitting here saying, you have all these emotional weaknesses and that's why you created this brand, but you recognize that other people are going to have those, and you recognize as a company that you're with now that actually understands that there's more than just an order-taking business where you're just helping people complete a transaction, right? Like, having an awareness to that is huge.
Right. And I think that makes another reason I'm at Real is because it's sustainable. I mean, there's the numbers, which are incredible and hard to beat, and commissions, we could talk about commission splits and all of that, but just the sustainability of a healthier environment, incredibly collaborative, and talking about real and authentic things in our lives. There's going to be less burnout in an environment like this too.
The fact that we have people there that actually coach to a healthier lifestyle for the agent, because I know that the happy agent and the agent that's taking care of their own physical presence, their health, their fitness, all of those things, it should be somewhat of a focus, right? Because if it's not, then exactly, you do not want the stressed out agent, you do not want the burnt out agent, you do not want the person who is helping you complete this process that is a robot, right? It's just bringing some awareness to these things.
Yeah, you want to work with a human. You want to work with a human that knows how to be human and that recognizes your humanity, right? And you want the best. I always say that holistic agents, and I would say you're holistic. I think just a mindful real estate broker is holistic. I just took a word and marketed it to some degree, right? But yeah, in fact, I had, when I first branded and had my business cards, I went up networking in Seattle, and there was a high producing agent there that took my card, and he looked at it and he said, wow, you're a good marketer. And I thought, my first thought was, no, this is who I am. This is touchy-feely.
This is legit.
And then later I realized, yeah, that was probably good marketing too, right? But yeah, I think people want to work with someone that's bringing their whole selves, authentic self, into the experience. But I do always say that holistic agents, healthy agents, are also the best at writing contracts. We are the best at negotiating. There's just something about being fully you, that you then can use your mind to its full capacity, not just touchy-feely. It's also that intellect. Coming into Real, I've helped probably upwards of 200 families, buy and sell homes in the past several years since my career.
So Holistic has been a really successful business. So tell us a little bit about what it's looked like for you since you started the company.
That idea of holistic was a little bit out there, but when you speak to your tribe, when you stand out there and have a niche, people find you, including National Association of Realtors. Back in 2017, I had an article I was interviewed for an article for that about holistic real estate. And then that led to another article and videos on Realtor.com. And so having my own niche helped my business grow through referrals from other agents around the country, as well as just word of mouth and referrals from past clients. We recognize the connection between heart, soul, mind, how important our spirits and emotion are. And in real estate, I was just talking to a client today, and we were talking about how to prepare their home to list. We recognize that real estate is incredibly emotional. We're going to accept that and use that by recognizing how they can make their home more emotionally attractive to a buyer. When I stepped back into real estate, I remembered the negativity. I remembered that it's considered like the third most stressful event in a person's life after death and divorce. I mean, that's ridiculous. And yet we know that as agents, we hold that space every day, all day. It has to start with us. So for a few years, I didn't even necessarily talk about holistic. I mean, it was in my brand, but some people just don't pay attention to that. They just know Christy and they call Christy because their friend told them to. I would then just get to know them, and that's probably the biggest holistic piece for me is I listen, and my goal is to reflect back what you said, what your tools are, what your own personal tools are in life to have a more, a healthier experience.
Well, you nailed it there. You said that this is one of the most stressful things that anybody can go through. Yeah. I don't think that most real estate agents acknowledge that in the process, nor are they equipped to actually deal with the emotions that people have. So I just think it's really cool. I've never seen anybody have a brand like this. That's why I wanted to talk about this today. Because I think people deserve to know about it. So Christy, it's been a long conversation. I really appreciate you being here, telling people about your business, Holistic Home Group. You definitely want to connect with her if you need to sell a house. Where can people connect with you other than the usual stuff? Like, where would you want somebody to go if they wanted to reach out to you?
You can find me at Holistic Home Group on social media, Facebook, Instagram, or at my website, which is holistichomegroup.com.
Awesome.